why I don't have an awful lot of sympathy for her. Now, I don't have a visceral reaction like a number of New Zealanders do towards Susie Wiles, but this is my take on Susie Wiles. My thought is that she is an attention seeker. She loved being famous. She sought fame. In fact, what you may or may not know is that she, from the very first moment, this is before lockdown 4 was enclosed, was doing a sort of reality TV show for a documentary maker. This goes back to 2020. All right, so she was enjoying her moment in the sunshine, and she had a male partner, tall, balding, white, skinny, exact antipathy of her, and a daughter. Her daughter was on that as well. Would have been in her teens, I imagine, still at school, perhaps year 11, 12, 13 at school, in that documentary. Now, there was no need for her to do that documentary, but it was about her. Now, this is very important, please, that you know this. It was about Susie Wiles prior to the government announcing the COVID lockdown in 2020, or the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern doing so. There was then a second consequent documentary about Susie Wiles. All right? By the way, I'll come to her name in a second. But in both of those cases, they were not documentaries about public information that people need to have to make rational or good decisions about COVID. They were personality pieces. They were designed to look inside the wonderful person that was Susie Wiles, this outstanding communicator and individual. They were almost panegyrical in terms of the way in which they were covered, and they were published around that time as well. So this is not a person, this isn't Professor Michael Baker. Now, whatever your thoughts on Professor Michael Baker, I've always respected and admired Professor Baker for A, sticking to his guns, but B, staying close to the facts. He wasn't trying to seek, Michael Baker, in my view, he wasn't trying to create a personality cult around himself. He was just saying, I'm a public health official, I believe this, I really do buy the zombie apocalypse story, and I'm going to consistently maintain this. And I've had Michael Baker on the show half a dozen times since the platform formed to get that view. And whether we agree or disagree with him, I think you always have to say he's always dispassionately put his view. And you at least understand where he's coming from. Susie Wiles was about personality from day one. She was going to enjoy her day or days in the sun. And can I say, that's fair enough too. Some people like being famous. Some people enjoy fame. And fame's cool. And she was even so famous that Kiwi Bank, don't even start me on these New Zealander of the Year awards, but they named her New Zealander of the Year, I think in 2021, or rather than that, called her the face of COVID, the COVID response. And the mainstream media lionised Susie Wiles. So she had a fantastic time, and she sought that attention. She sought and engendered that personality cult. All right? And in a funny sort of way, that's her personality. That's why she wears the pink hair. Okay? It's to draw attention to herself. That's why she changed her name from being Susie Wiles to misappropriating an American Indian name, Sue, and then putting just S-I-E on the end of it. Sioux was an Indian tribe, and quite a famous one in actual fact, and pretty successful in their own right, the Sioux. But then she put Susie, so she spells it Indian tribe, S-I-O-U-X-S-I-E, not her real name. She changed it. So she is somebody whose personality is about attracting attention to herself. And so as a consequence of that, she can't expect anything other that when you are removing freedoms from people, when you're taking away their most individual liberties, the things that have been protected since, good God, the Magna Carta and the Bill of Rights, good God, it goes back to 1688, the Bill of Rights Act, or the Bill of Rights, sorry, not the Bill of Rights Act, of 1688, in the 17th century in the UK. So we'll forget about the Magna Carta. The reality is those individual rights that British citizens and then by extrapolation New Zealand citizens have held against the state, they've been there for hundreds of years. And during the COVID lockdown, and the people who argued that they'd be taken away, and Susie Wiles was the most prominent advocate of such, it is unsurprising that you would get a reaction to that. At times unhinged, agreed, but nevertheless intense, emotional, because you're taking away the most basic of democratic freedoms from ordinary New Zealanders, including, as we later would find out a year or so later, people's jobs and livelihoods, businesses and incomes. Whoa, 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 you know. But can I just say to Susie Wiles, I actually don't have a lot of respect for you. You sought this attention. You actively courted it. You brought documentary teams into your home. You introduced New Zealand to your family. Now, I don't have a problem with anything of that at all. But you can't then turn around and say, oh, I've got this reaction now from people who don't like me. What's the matter? They don't like me and they're getting really threatening. And Susie, you were never attacked by anybody. Nobody actually attacked you in your home. Your home wasn't vandalised or anything like that. These were a whole series of people venting on social media. And there are a whole lot of mad people in the world who have access now to social media as well. But as a general rule, if I'd been her employer, I would have said, you know, Susie, the very people who threaten you with physical harm of any description, and as somebody who has personally been threatened with physical harm ever since he's entered public life in the late 1980s, on regular occasions, to this day, can I say, those are not the people who will ever do you harm. The people who do you harm are the people who never threaten you. They just do it. And that's been my experience. So, can I just say, Susie, it is unsurprising you got this reaction. That you then decided that Auckland University was responsible for your safety, when, to be fair, you'd have courted that lack of safety, is beyond me. And if you followed or extrapolated what Susie Wiles did in terms of holding her employer, Auckland University, accountable for her safety, having committed all those actions, then anybody who takes any public role, mayor, councillor, community board member at a local government level, member of parliament, minister of the crown, anybody who goes public like our previous guest, Mr. Tandessa, anybody who enters the public realm demands of the platform, demands from their employer that I be protected from people venting on social media. Well, you just think about that for a moment. That is madness. All right? And the very fact that Auckland University did, now the argument is they belatedly came to the party. Well, but they did come to the party. All right?